Joining me now is a man who was expected to fight Keone Diggs at Bellator 255. Unfortunately, that fight didn't pan out, and he's got a late-minute replacement, Ricardo Chases. If that's how you say it, I'm not completely positive, but he'll take him on at Bellator 255. Thanks for joining me, Mandel, man. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine.
Now, this interview was actually supposed to happen a couple weeks ago. I'm guessing the reason it didn't is because of the late-minute replacement?
Yeah, I think we were scheduled to do some some interviews, and then there was a injury, so we had to do it last minute now.
Now you were expected to take on Keone Diggs, obviously up and comer. You're now expected to take on Ricardo. Was there any thought process behind taking this matchup? Or was there any questions, or was it like sign on the dotted line right away?
Yeah, I don't know. We were pretty deep into training for the other fight, and once you're that far into it, it's kind of first name that comes across is cool. It was good.
For sure. Now, I don't want to obviously harp on the negative, but the last contest was a no contest, first round. You spoke after the fight that you wouldn't mind running that one back. Is that still on your mind at all?
No, I wouldn't say it's on my mind. If it, I mean, if it happens, that's a good thing, I think. But no, like MMA is a crazy game. All sorts of wild stuff happens all the time. So if the stars align that we get to do it again, great. If not, there are plenty of good matchups out there.
You've always been a guy that's had a lot of name recognition behind you. You come from TriStar. You've been touted by the guys that you train with. As a fellow Canadian myself, I've heard your name come up through the rankings for quite some time. But unfortunately, cage time has not been your friend. Do you hope to be much more active this year, or what?
I do, but I say that every year. Look, I've already broken the ice. I used to only fight in the fall. I'm fighting in the spring, so we're already, making some progress.
Talk about that to me. Fighting during COVID right now. Obviously, you had the one match 2020 October against Sadawad. That was during the COVID pandemic as well. How has training differed from then until now, if at all?
Yeah, I think that here in Canada, at least, everybody's just making do with what you can, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, but we're just lucky. Like, I mean, I feel lucky because training might be more difficult, but at least I'm getting matched up. There are guys who are fighting on local shows that, like, there just aren't shows, and that's way harder. So I feel pretty lucky.
For sure, we know obviously the big promotions are trying to have matchups, and as you said, regional stuff hasn't. Luckily, up here in British Columbia, two different promotions actually had events this earlier this month, so we lucked out there. Have you
Yeah.
been focusing on specific training partners then? Like you have your own bubble of training partners, or have you been able to get looks from other guys?
No, it's pretty self-contained. We have a core team that we work with and trust, and that's really about it. Everything's kind of lock and key here.
Without getting too politically correct or political, what are your thoughts on the coronavirus and the way sports and stuff like that are panning out? Are you in favor of, say, the vaccine? Is that something you're going to get? Do you think that sports should be regulated across Canada with stuff like that without going too deep into it? I guess we could get into a huge rabbit hole.
Sure, yeah. I don't. I don't know. I think that there are probably smarter people than me that are going to figure that out. I just want to be able to train and fight
I don't know, man.
year
I don't
round.
know if you say there's people smarter than you. Obviously, doctors and surgeons and these people that are
Mhm.
researching it. But from what I've seen, you're pretty intelligent, my friend.
But I'm pretty entrenched in the MMA game, so I have a pretty insular lifestyle. I don't really know too much about what's going on out there. But from my point of view, which is a fortunate point of view, I just I feel lucky to be able to do what I'm doing. I don't want to get too. I'm not getting too deep into it. I'm
For
gonna
sure.
curb myself.
Do you keep up with the news though on it, like, or do you want to keep yourself in the dark a little bit?
I mean, keeping up with the news is difficult because you're gonna get like you really have to take time to find, you know, alternate viewpoints, right? Because there are people, and it's not even like pushing an agenda. It's not some conspiratorial minded line of thinking. It's just like if somebody really believes in whatever set of statistics, they're going to report on what they believe in, and then you have to find what you think is correct. I don't know.
Exactly. People create a narrative, and if someone follows along with it, then it becomes, as I say, a rabbit hole that many people can go down, and sort of like a snowball effect.
Yeah, exactly. So I try not to get too caught up on, like, I mean, I try to stay informed a little bit, but I try not to get too bogged down with like getting into it with people or anything. I know this is a hot button issue, and I think that a lot of people really get worked up over this stuff when really, like, I don't know.
I know, I know,
Let's
I know,
focus
I,
on.
I know what you're saying. Obviously Montreal was a little more locked down than BC was. Did that play a part in your training at all?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I mean, just day-to-day life,
Yeah,
right? There was a
exactly.
curfew, so if you didn't get your groceries before 7:30, the grocery store was closed. Uh, so there's stuff like that that definitely affected your day-to-day.
I know more people are making a little bit more money from it though, like Skip the Dishes and DoorDash and all that kind of stuff. They've risen to the occasion.
Yeah, I guess I do feel bad. I mean, I don't know what the legality of this stuff was, but I know that certain places couldn't do private delivery, but they could Uber Eats
Yeah.
your food over. So I thought that that was unfortunate. Though I live in Toronto, and the most unfortunate side effect of all of this, I mean, one of the more unfortunate side effects, I mean, the mental health stuff and all that, I don't want to get into it, but the fact that like the cool spots that I really like Toronto for, the small businesses, they're just kind of being stamped down. So when I say I feel lucky as a fighter to be able to do this, it means like I get to work, but like the local bar that's existed for 40 years and they're just shut now. That kind of sucks.
Speaking of Toronto, are you a Raptors fan? Because Norman Powell just got traded to Portland.
I don't watch. I don't even watch MMA.
Fair enough.
Don't
Okay,
watch.
let's move on. Let's move on to this fight a little bit, and then I'll let you go to the next interview because I'm sure it's media day. So, this fight goes down in Connecticut. Talk about traveling there, what the quarantine process is like, and all that kind of stuff. Because is it going to be similar to your last fight?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much exactly the same. You get there, you having tested already before flying, you quarantine in your room, you test again, and then you kind of exist only in the sector of the hotel that is the Bellator section, and then it's fight day. So I mean, it's boring, but I if that's how the rules are for to allow people to fight, then yeah, cool.
You like fighting in front of no fans?
It makes no difference, honestly, to me.
Well,
The only difference is that it's cool when your friends are there, so you can celebrate afterwards.
of course.
But during the fight,
Will Faross be making the trip with you?
yeah, Fred's gonna be there.
Nice. All right, let's talk about the fight itself. You're expected to face Keone Diggs. You take on Ricardo Seixon, as I said. What are the similarities between these two, if any, and how do you see yourself matching up with this guy?
Yeah, I think that they're not very similar. I mean, one's a lefty, one's a righty. Uh, one's more of a striker, one's more of a jiu-jitsu guy, but I think the similarity is that they're both fairly skilled, uh, and I think I match up well with both of them. So when this name came across, it was good. You know, it's not like who knows what happens on the day, but I think overall, I feel pretty good about this fight.
Do you feel like Keone Diggs was more of a threat?
No, no, I
No,
think like guys are threatening in their own way,
for
right?
sure.
You can have a guy who's a great striker and knows a lot, but maybe then he falls into traps because he has reactions that a good striker is going to have. Whereas a guy who's a little more green on the feet might you're trying to throw feints and he's not biting because he just doesn't give it. He doesn't care. So everybody's dangerous in there. Obviously, this guy's got 9 wins, so he's dangerous somewhere. Everybody's dangerous, really.
Final question: as a guy who's been on the professional scene since 2012, if you could go back and tell that 0-0 fighter something, what would it be?
I mean, there are a ton of obvious ones like, you know, be more active. I don't know, but that wasn't even really a choice. I think the main one that I don't know if young fighters should hear or not. Take care of your your body. Like it's kind of cliche, but you get pretty banged up just doing this every day. So don't take your health for granted because you'll end up with a busted hunk of junk up for a body.
You said to be more active. All right, let's finish with this. If you get the job done the way you want to in here, when would you like to be back inside the Bellator cage?
Yeah, sometime in summer. I think 3 fights in the year or four if everything goes perfectly would be great. But yeah, sometime in the summer would be good.
He is Mandel Nallo. He fights at Bellator 255. Check it out. Thanks a lot, Mandel, and all the best, my friend.
Thank you. Peace.